You're on.
Hi everyone, I'm here at the Bible reading. I hope you're having a good day. We're going to go through our prayer requests first. So please keep the following people in prayer: Luke Balls, Hannah Denny, Sherm, Cindy and Jim, Rhonda Karshner, Layla and her son Emil, Jimmy Myers, Abby Myers, and Liam. Let's see, Joyce Light, Ray and Donna Dunlap, Bonnie Jean, Bonnie Jean's dad, that he finds a nice, affordable place to live. Bonnie Jean's sister-in-law Lori, who lost her husband Morgan. It's Bonnie Jean's brother. And Bonnie Jean's cat Misty, that she returns home. Bonnie does a rescue for animals. She's a big animal lover, and I know she really misses Misty. So please pray for Misty to come home. We know God works miracles. Please pray for Elizabeth Jeffries and her grandson Dominic. Abby and Liam, I don't say. Let's see. Dora Harper, Judy Thompson, and I believe that's it that I know of. Wait. I'm forgetting. I don't know how I can forget. It's hard to get sleep anymore because yesterday we found out about 2 more deaths of people that we were friends with who used to live here. Sherm still talk to him. He lives right across the road now. But Paris, who used to be our neighbor, and we really liked Paris. He passed away. And then we found out last night that a friend that used to live here, who I'd last seen at the doctor's office actually, and we both had an appointment, Alicia, she was only 35, and she passed away at the nursing home where Elizabeth lives, which is right up the road from here. I didn't even know she was in the nursing home, so that was really a shock. So please pray for their families and for their souls as well. So that is all for now. And Sherm found out that a guy he went to school with just passed away. He was Sherm's age, they were friends. He died from a blood clot that went to his lungs. So he was only 47. It's like every other day I'm asking our neighbor, Garnet, please pray for her and her family, Garnet Boyer. It's like every other day it seems like I'm asking her to print me off an obituary. So that makes, I believe, 9 people, 9 if not 10 this year already, that we're related to or we knew or friends with. I got like a whole stack of obituaries, starting off with my sister in January, and my cousin in February, and then it just went on down and down and down and down and down. And we're only in April. But please keep all of them in your prayers. Okay, so today we're going to be reading Luke chapter 21, verses 1 through 28. So we'll be reading about the widow's offering, which I love that. It's just a short one, but I love it. And about the temple and the signs of the end times. And Psalm 89, continuing on from yesterday, with verses 38 through 52. And Proverbs chapter 13, verses 20, 21, 22, and 23. We have 3 Proverbs today. Can you believe it? 3 or 4. And it seems like it starts out with a lot, but later you go in the year, it seems like it gets less for the Proverbs. You get like 1, mostly, maybe 2. I don't know why they have it set up that way, but that's what it always seems like anyway, unless it's changed. I know we've been on Luke for a while, so. Alright, so let's get started here with the widow's offering. I love this one. As Jesus looked up, they were sitting at the temple, him and his disciples, watching people come up and put their tithes in. So just picture the scene in your head. Street, people all around, and there's the temple, the church. And Jesus sitting there with his disciples in a bowl, let's say. and people coming up putting their tithes in, the money that they're giving to the church. As Jesus looked to God, as Jesus looked up, he saw the rich putting their gifts into the temple treasury. He also saw a poor widow put in 2 very small copper coins. Truly, I tell you, he said, this poor widow has put in more than all the others. All these people gave their gifts out of their wealth, but she, out of her poverty, put in all she had to live on. So I really like that one. See, Jesus is, they can't say, oh, Jesus and his disciples, they just wanted to collect money from people. No, they didn't. That money was going in that church for God. That's what your tithes are for the Lord. And they were just sitting there watching people. And he praised the poor widow. In one book, it talks about one of the disciples saying something, complaining about the widow only putting in that much, like 2 pennies here, let's say. The least amount of money you can get, putting in 2 pennies, and one of the disciples complains about it, and then Jesus tells them this, what we just read. So I say some of the books are just go into more detail about some stuff than others do. They don't say different things, they're just, some go into more detail. Like if you had 5 people tell the same story, some people would say, oh yeah, we saw a rabbit jump over the fence. And another person would say, we went hunting and we were looking for rabbits all day. We've seen a couple deers and a few squirrels. We saw some birds and we waited a couple hours, and then we seen a zebra run by, and then we finally seen a rabbit jump over the fence. You see what I'm saying? Some just go into more detail, just like we do. Okay, now we're going to read about the destruction of the temple and the signs of the end times. Some of his disciples were remarking about how the temple was adorned with beautiful stones. Wouldn't that be beautiful to see, though? And with gifts dedicated to God. But Jesus said, as for what you see here, the time will come when not one stone will be left on another. Every one will be thrown down. Teacher, they said, when will these things happen? And what will be the sign that we are about to take place? He replied, watch out that you are not deceived. For many will come in my name claiming, I am he, like some of the cult leaders. The time is near. Do not follow them. When you hear of wars and uprisings, do not be frightened. These things must happen first, but the end will not come right away. Then he said to them, nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. There will be great earthquakes, famines, and pestilence in various places, and fearful events, a great sign from heaven. But before all this, they will seize you and persecute you. He's talking to his disciples, which they did. Look how many were thrown into prison for times. And eventually they all lost their lives, but most when they was in their old age. But not Stephen, who comes after Jesus. Remember Stephen, who becomes a disciple after Jesus has already ascended to heaven? He was a young man, and he was stoned to death. But most of the disciples, the original disciples, ended up getting killed later much later in life in their old age. Just like Peter, who they crucified, but he asked to be crucified upside down because he didn't want to be crucified the same way as Jesus, because he didn't feel worthy, as Jesus to do that. And they did. They crucified him upside down. He was old. So they will hand you over to synagogues and put you in prison, and you will be brought before kings and governors, all on account of my name. And so you will bear testimony to me. When something happens to you because of Jesus, if it's bad or good, if it's on account of Jesus' name, you will be rewarded in heaven. But make up your mind not to worry beforehand how you will defend yourselves. like Stephen. For I will give you words and wisdom, and none of your adversaries will be able to resist or contradict. You will be betrayed even by parents, brothers and sisters, relatives and friends. And they will put some of you to death. Just like some of you, your family don't believe, like some of mine. And they want nothing to do with us. Same with other people. They make fun of you because you're a Christian. Maybe your families don't, which that'd make me very glad if they didn't, but a lot of people in our family does. They don't even like me putting them on the prayer list. They get mad if I do. So, I mean, you try and try and try. You know, but some people are just plain stuck in their way, and some are truly evil and on the devil's side. And we have that. Everyone will hate you because of me, but not one hair on your head will perish. Stand firm and you will win life. Their souls will go to heaven. The disciples, the people that are faithful to Jesus, they are saved like they are. You have the Holy Spirit. You're going to heaven. When you see Jerusalem being surrounded by armies, you will know that the desolation is near. Then let those who are in Judea flee to the mountains. Let those in the city get out, and let those in the country not enter the city. For this is the time of punishment, in fulfillment of all that has been written. How dreadful it will be in those days for pregnant women and nursing mothers. There will be a great distress in the land and wrath against its people. They will fall by the sword and will be taken as prisoners to all the nations. Jerusalem will be trampled on by the Gentiles until the time of the Gentiles are fulfilled. There will be signs in the sun, moon, and stars. On the earth, nations will be in anguish and perplexity at the roaring and tossing of the sea. People will faint from terror, apprehensive of what is coming on the world, for the heavenly bodies will be shaken. At that time they will see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. Let me go over this real quick. Don't let someone come up and try to say, I'm Jesus, and perform things in front of you like, like they're Jesus performing miracles. Maybe they will perform something, but they're not Jesus. When you'll know for a fact when Jesus comes back, because of this right here, what I'm about to read to you again. Never believe anybody when they say they're Jesus, or cult leaders and stuff. They're not Jesus. No matter how good they act, they're not Jesus. You won't have to wonder, is that really Jesus or not? Hey, that's Jesus over there. Oh, hi. There's Jesus, and bow down and start worshiping. No. When Jesus comes back, everybody will know it, because you'll look up in heaven and this is what you'll see right here. Everybody. If you don't see this, what I'm about to read, that's not Jesus. That's the devil playing tricks with you. At that time, look up in the sky. At that time, they will see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. Just as the disciples seen Jesus ascend to heaven on a cloud, you'll see him coming back from the sky. If you don't see that, it is not Jesus. Make sure you teach your children and grandchildren this stuff, if you're able to, if you're allowed. Because I know how that is. People not wanting their kids, teaching their kids things like that. That's how it was in my family anyway, with certain people. But I did what I could anyway. When these things begin to take place, stand up and lift up your heads, because your redemption is drawing near. And if you see Jesus coming back and you're not saved, you're on the devil's side, you're not going to heaven. You're going to stay right there. And that's when the devil will come as well. And there will be a big war between good and evil. Read the Bible. Read the book of Revelation. God wins. The devil will lose. And the people will get scared to death and faint when they actually see Jesus coming. Because they'll be like, oh my God, this was really real. I can't believe this. What am I going to do now? I'm sorry, Lord, I'm sorry. Forgive me. Too late. Change and ask for forgiveness now and accept Jesus into your heart. Be saved. Be ready. Because it'll happen in the blink of an eye. Just like I said, there'll be two people in a field plowing. There'll be people sewing together. People going to church and getting married. Bam. And then here comes Jesus. It's like an ordinary day. Could happen now. Could happen a month from now, days from now, years from now. We don't know. But you want to be ready. Because when you drop dead, you're already going to either heaven or hell. So you won't even be here for them. So be ready, please. Be ready. Alright. And that's where we're stopping with Luke today. And now we're going to Psalm 89, verses 38 through 52. But you rejected, you have spurned, you have been very angry with your anointed one. You have renounced the covenant with your servant, and have defiled his crown in the dust. You have broken through all his walls, and reduced his strongholds to ruins. All who pass by have plundered him. He has become the scorn of his neighbors. Oh, we know how that feels, don't we? Sure.
Yeah.
You have become the scorn to his neighbors. You have exalted the right hand of his foes. You have made all his enemies rejoice. Indeed, you have turned back the edge of his sword, and have not supported him in battle. You have put an end to his splendor, and cast his throne to the ground. You have cut short the days of his youth. You have covered him with a mantle of shame. People look on him like, yeah, we don't like them. They're trash. How long, Lord? Will you hide yourself forever? How long will your wrath burn like fire? Remember how fleeting is my life. For what futility you have created all humanity. Who can live and not see death? None of us, because we are all going to die. Whether you want to believe it or not, or think it's far from now, you don't know. We are all going to die. Some young, some old. That's just the plain, hard-hold truth. That's a fact. Remember how fleeting is my life. For what futility have you created all humanity? Who can live and not see death? Or who can escape the power of the grave? Lord, where is your former great love, which in your faithfulness you swore to David? Remember, Lord, how your servant has been mocked, how I bear in my heart the taunts of all the nations, the taunts with which your enemies, Lord, have mocked, with which they have mocked every step of your anointed one. Praise be to the Lord forever. Amen and amen. And I believe that is the end of Psalm 89. All right, now we have 4 Proverbs to end the video with. Proverbs chapter 13, verses 20 through 23. Proverbs 13:20. Walk with the wise and become wise, for a companion of fools suffers harm. You become who you hang out with usually. If you're hanging out with, if you're good and hanging out with a bad crowd, They will corrupt you. And if you're good, or if you're bad and go with good people, a lot of times, most likely, hopefully, they'll help you to become good as well. Because people who do bad things and try to get you to do bad things with them, they do not love you. You might think they do. Oh, because we're hanging around together, they're real nice to me. They don't love you. Because if they did, they wouldn't want to put you in that situation or see you get hurt by doing that stuff. That's not love. Love is someone who helps you and is there for you and wants you to have good things. Protect you from harm, not cause you harm, or have you cause others harm. Proverbs 13:21. Trouble pursues the sinner, but the righteous are rewarded with good things. Proverbs 13:22. A good person leaves an inheritance for their children's children, but a sinner's wealth is stored up for the righteous. And lastly, Proverbs 13:23. An unplowed field produces food for the poor, but injustice sweeps it away. Alright guys, so that was our Bible reading for today. I hope it touched your hearts. Let's bring those souls to Jesus, and God willing, we'll see you guys again tomorrow with another Bible reading. Bye guys. God bless. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Don't forget the prayer request, guys.